Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. Passepartout was surprised to see Fix again. He began to think he might be a spy sent by the Reform Club to watch them, but he did not tell Phileas Fogg of his suspicions. Despite fierce storms, they docked in Hong Kong 16 hours before their next ship, the Carnatic, sailed for Yokohama in Japan. Fogg hurried into town with Aouda to find her cousin. To Aouda's dismay, however, her relative had left Hong Kong and had gone to live in Holland.
You must come to Europe with us,
Phileas Fogg told her. Meanwhile, Passepartout had wandered into the city on his own. Much to his surprise, he met Fix.
Are you going to Japan too, sir?
He asked.
I am,
The detective told him. Together they went to book tickets for the ship to Yokohama. At the ticket office, they learned that she would sail earlier than they had expected.
My master will be pleased to sail tonight.
Passepartout said.
I must hurry to tell him.
There's plenty of time.
Said the cunning detective.
Let's have a glass of wine together.
Over a glass of wine, Fix at last told Passepartout that he was a detective.
Your master,
He said,
is the missing bank robber. Help me to catch him and I'll share the reward with you.
Nonsense.
cried Passepartout.
My master is the most honest of men. I'll never betray such a fine man. Never.
You know nothing about him.
Fix told the loyal Passepartout.
But at least we can still be friends.
He went on.
Come on, let's have another drink.
Again they drank. Poor Passepartout's head began to reel. Fix placed a pipe in the servant's hand. Passepartout took a few puffs, not knowing that he was smoking a pipe of opium. In moments, he fell into a drugged sleep. Quietly, Fix slipped away. Now the Carnatic would sail without Fogg and his servant. If only the arrest warrant would arrive, then the detective could arrest Phileas Fogg, and the reward would be his. Fogg and Aouda waited for Passepartout to return. When he did not come, they hurried to the docks. Passepartout was not there. Instead, they found Fix, who told them that the Carnatic had already sailed.
In that case,
Said Fogg.
I shall find another ship to take us.
The detective's heart sank. He was going to be unlucky again because the warrant had still not arrived. Fogg quickly found the captain of a small boat willing to take them to Shanghai. There they could catch a steamer for Yokohama.
You have also missed the Carnatic.
Fogg said to Fix.
May we take you with us?
Fix gladly agreed. Thanks to the bank robber's kindness, the detective could still keep an eye on him. Fogg had the town searched for Passepartout, but in vain. Fix kept silent. When the ship was ready to sail, Fogg and Aouda sadly had to leave without their faithful servant. On the second day at sea, they ran into bad weather, and a typhoon began to blow up. Soon great waves were crashing over the ship. Lashed by the typhoon, the ship creaked and rolled. Then, near the coast of China, the wind dropped. They had lost valuable time and were still 100 miles from Shanghai. The captain ordered full steam ahead. Then, just as Shanghai came into sight, they saw a big steamer sailing towards them.
We are too late.
The captain yelled.
That's your ship for Yokohama.
Signal to her.
Ordered Fogg. The big steamer slowed and the little ship pulled alongside her. Aouda, Phileas Fogg and Fix climbed aboard. As they waved goodbye to the captain of the little ship, the steamer moved off on the journey to Yokohama.
If only Passepartout were with us.
Said Aouda. What none of them knew was that Passepartout was already on his way to Japan too. Although still sleepy from the opium Fix had given him, he had struggled to the docks. Sailors had carried him on board the Carnatic as she was about to sail. They had put him in his cabin, where he had fallen asleep. When he had recovered, he had searched for his master. Fogg and Aouda were not on board. He realized that Fix had tricked him, and he felt utterly miserable. It was his fault that his master had missed the boat. If Phileas Fogg failed to get to London on time and lost his bet, he, Passepartout, was to blame. Alone and penniless, he stepped ashore in Yokohama. He wandered the streets, wondering how he could earn money to get back to London. Then a poster, in English, caught his eye. It read, Grand show. Clowns, acrobats, jugglers, tonight!
The very thing.
He thought,
I'll get a job as an acrobat.
and he went straight into the theatre.
Yes, we can use a strong man.
Said the leader of the acrobats.
We need a man to hold up our human pyramid. You have to lie on your back, and the rest of us balance on top of you.
At 3 o'clock, the show began. With a roll of drums, 50 acrobats leapt onto the stage. Passepartout lay down, and the rest, climbing on each other, balanced on top of him. The crowd cheered, and the band played as the human pyramid grew higher and higher. As he lay on his back, Passepartout could see up into the theatre. There, up in the gallery, he saw Mr. Fogg and Aouda.
Master!
Shouted Passepartout joyfully. He pushed off the men on top of him, and the human pyramid collapsed in a heap. He raced off the stage to join his lost master and Aouda. The theatre was in uproar. The acrobats were wild with anger, but Fogg, delighted to be with his servant again, calmed them with a handful of banknotes. Together, the three made their way to the docks to board the steamer that would take them across the Pacific Ocean to America. Fogg told his servant how he, Aouda, and Mr. Fix had reached Japan. Passepartout told them that he had missed them because he had been smoking opium. He did not mention his meeting with the detective. The steamer sailed on time for San Francisco,
So far, so good.
said Phileas Fogg.
At this rate, we shall be back in the Reform Club in time.
Passepartout was delighted. He was back with his master and Aouda. Mr. Fogg could still win his bet, and at last they seemed to be free of Fix. He was glad, too, that he had not told his master about the detective. Clearly, there had been a mistake. There had been no need to worry him. He was feeling his old, cheerful self as he went for a walk on deck. Then, turning a corner, he came face to face with Fix. Without a word, he rushed at Fix, raining blows on him, and knocked him down.
That's for the trick you played on me.
He roared.
Any more of your tricks and I'll break your neck.
Wisely, Fix kept out of sight for the rest of the voyage, and 11 days later the ship sailed into San Francisco. That evening they were on the train for New York, 3,786 miles away. In 7 days, the train should take them from the Pacific to the Atlantic Ocean. They had 18 days left. All was going well, Fogg decided. To his surprise and delight, Mr. Fix was also on the train. Passepartout was neither surprised nor delighted. Through the night, the train roared on through the Rocky Mountains and over raging rivers. Then they were crossing the prairies. Suddenly, the train stopped as thousands of great buffaloes charged across the railway track. For hours, they passed in front of the train like a brown river stretching as far as the eye could see. Passepartout fumed at the delay, but nothing disturbed Phileas Fogg. He spent long hours playing cards as if time did not matter. When at last the train moved on, snow began to fall. Passepartout grew worried again, for he knew that soon the prairies would be covered with snow. A heavy snowfall could block the track and end their adventure. On the third morning, the train stopped suddenly again, and Passepartout went to see what was the matter.
No, you can't cross the river.
He heard a signalman say.
The bridge isn't strong enough to take the train.
The train driver was not to be stopped,
Let me through.
he demanded.
If we go at top speed, we'll nearly fly across.
He reversed the train down the track, then drove forward, quickly gathering speed. The engine shrieked. The train shuddered. They were doing 60, 80, 100 miles an hour. The wheels hardly seemed to touch the track. They were over the river in a flash. As the last carriage reached the opposite bank, the bridge behind it crashed into the raging river.